outside completely through turns 1 and 2 without any problems at all.
There's the 2 of Riggs. Behind him is the 99 of 16-year-old Kyle Busch. As you watch the 17, that is the GMAC Chevy of Ricky Hendrick trying to make a move inside of Dennis Setzer.
Right there in the center of the corner where a lot of these guys were having a problem. They're losing the front ends of the trucks in the center of the corner. You saw Ricky made a good move, almost pulled up aside Dennis Setzer, got to the center of the corner, started losing the front end, had to back off.
There's a look at Ricky Hendrick. Tight battle. Will bring you up to speed on that a little later on for Rookie of the Year as well as the top 5 in points. Now, we told you that Musgrave in the 1 and the 29 of Terry Cook had to go to the back of the pack. There they are making a roar toward the front.
We saw a truck get into the outside wall right behind him. It looked like, I think it was Phil Bonnefeld in the 86 truck, got into the wall coming off turn 4 right behind these guys. I knew it was going to be exciting having the trucks that are this good starting in the back. But I think it was more exciting than Phil Bonnefeld wanted to see right then.
A little more exciting here early on than they wanted in the early laps. 4 complete. There's the 51. Making a move by Brian Rose. And tough break. The 8 truck is on pit road. That is Willie T. Ribbs in the Dodge Motorsports Dodge. Amy, what's the problem?
Well, it seems as though they speculate that they had a plug wire off. They went under the hood. They're looking now, reattaching it, and they'll get the 8 of Willie T. Ribbs back out. So we're seeing a lot of luck playing into this race early for some of these competitors that we normally would like to see run up front.
Frustrations early for Willie T. You had a 13th place finish at Pikes Peak, his best of the season. Now you can see the frustration in his eyes. He heads back down pit road at 45 miles an hour. Completing lap 6 of 146. Jack Sprague is the pole sitter, was the pole sitter, and is our leader. Has led the first 6 consecutive laps. There is the battle waging back. The 17 and 60 are 2 rookies. Talking about Ricky Hendrick and last week's winner, who we're riding along with in the Cat Reynolds Chevrolet, Travis Quapple.
That's been a battle this entire year. These guys have run so well all year long. They got a tremendous amount of top 5s and top 10s. Now with Travis winning last week, they both got a win. So a tremendous rookie field. Here's another rookie right here, John Wood on the inside in the 50 truck getting by Travis Quapple.
Boy, and he gets better and better every week. John Wood at 19 years of age. You look at our rookie points. Quapple, Hendrick, Crafton, Bigley, and Wood. Shows you where they're running right now. On the left side of your screen, as you see Wood now making a move into the top 8.
Great move by Ricky Hendrick on the outside of David Starr. Drove up beside him, going down in turn number 1, and made the pass through turns 1 and 2.
Riding along with Jim Engelbright, the Jelly Bellies Candy Company Chevy. His best qualifying effort of the year. Great run for Engelbright. Starting 6th today. And one truck having a little bit of trouble early on is the Jimmy Hensley machine, the 72 truck. Randy McDonald on the machine. There is Musgrave coming toward the front. Behind him, Terry Cook. Stan Boyd in the 89 is there. In the Bars Leaks Splat Chevrolet.
Musgrave and Terry Cook have stayed right together since the start of this race. They started right by each other, right at the back of the field.
There's Billy Bigley in the 75, right side of your screen, in the Wayne and Connie Spears manufacturing Chevy. They had trouble with an engine just before qualifying. They had to make a rapid engine change, and they put the engine in that they had a good run with earlier in the year. This engine finished 7th at Nazareth, so they have struggled with some engine. Here is the 51 of Brian Rose, who loops it around in the grass. Still no caution flag, and he is down away from the racetrack in this big wide lawn here in the front stretch, and we'll see if he can get it refired. Dion Hinsky, NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series flagman, watches, and Rose does indeed get it fired, and we will stay green.
As you mentioned, Doc, he was so far out of the way that NASCAR was able to wait to see if he got it refired before they threw the caution flag. Let's take another look at it. You see him just get sideways coming off of turn number 4. Keeps it out of the outside wall, though, spins down to the grass. Unfortunately, he's going to lose his lap doing this, but no contact.
Young man did a nice job. Brian Rose out of Bowling Green, Kentucky, at 21 years of age, the Sunclear Energy Racing Chevy. Kept it out of the wall, and now we'll head back on the racetrack. We are in the early laps at Las Vegas Motor Speedway in the Orleans 3. Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We apologize for the little glitch at the opening of the show. Power went away. We had a power hit just as we came on the air here, and our technical crew worked very, very hard.
What trouble?
Going up across the racetrack, the 50 of John Wood sliding up across the racetrack, and that will bring out the first caution flag of the day here on lap 14.
We saw it right in front of the guys we were watching, Joe Ruttman and Dennis Setzer. It happened right in front of them. You saw them jump out of the throttle because they saw John, and their spotters told them that John was spinning there.
And John had been coming up toward, he'd started 9th and was already in 8th spot, moving towards 7th very quickly when it looked like the truck just went skittering up across the racetrack. Heavy damage on the rear of the Eldon Ford. He will head down to pit road to get some service there.
Well, a racetrack like this, Doc, when you have 12 or 14 degrees of banking and you spin in the anywhere near the center of the corner, you're going to make some pretty hard contact with the outside wall, just like John did.
You can see what happened there. You see his truck already spinning. Travis Quapple just does miss him, and the truck loops around again with the back. He almost had it saved, and when it caught,
went the other direction. Sure did. It looked like maybe Travis took a little air off his spoiler. I don't think there was any contact, but he was right in between two trucks. I think he was between David Starr and Travis Quapple, and probably took a little air off the spoiler. We hear that all the time, but that in fact happens, and around he went some pretty hard contact.
You see once again, first caution flag of the day. John Wood, the 19-year-old, comes around with the Eldon Ford up into the concrete. And folks, these laps here, they're averaging over 160 miles an hour, so there's a lot of speed involved. Pretty hard contact as he takes it back to the garage area. Last night, John had a top 10 finish in the NASCAR Winston West event here. Finished 9th overall in the Auto Concierge Ford. So a tough beginning here to the NASCAR Craftsman Trucks Orleans 350 for the youngster, John Wood. Back in just a moment. Back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway in Las Vegas, Nevada, the early laps of the Orleans 350. That's Dan Banks and Company working on John Wood's Eldon Ford. Wood, who had qualified 9th and was moving in on 7th position, had some hard contact with the wall here on lap number 14, and we'll show you what Travis Quapple saw from his onboard camera.
You see John on the inside of David Starr right there. He's trying to make the move, but he starts losing the front end and pushes up. And he doesn't want to hit David Starr, so he turns the wheel left away from him, but loses the back end. Almost had it saved, as we saw earlier, from a different angle. But unfortunately, the thing caught in around. He made some hard contact with the outside wall.
John, who will be on board full-time next year for Roush Racing, has a 4th place finish at Kansas City, a 7th at Kentucky, and a 6th at Nazareth. So he's done awfully well. Although he didn't really start driving for Roush until close to the midpoint of the season. Here is Brendan Gaughan, who's been on and off pit road early on. And we'll check in and find out exactly what they were doing with his truck. Amy?
Well, he'd been complaining of some tight conditions, and in happy hour yesterday we heard quite a few trucks complaining of tight. Now, a lot of them attributed that to simply being a nighttime happy hour and also it just being a lot cooler. So I think a lot of people anticipated their trucks would free up, and Brendan's did not. So he came down and got some right side tires, made a track bar and a wedge adjustment. It took him back to the 21st position, and he'll try to work his way back up through the field.
Doc, one thing I've noticed right there, you see Brendan, he's not wearing any gloves. I think he's got to be one of the few guys in the series right now that does not wear any fireproof protection on his hands.
I'm not so sure how well advised that is, but I guess it's whatever you're accustomed to. And here is Ted Musgrave, who started, had to go to the back of the pack. He actually started 10th by qualifying, but when the green flag waved, he was back at the very back of the pack, and now he is being shown in 11th position. So Ted has made a move in a hurry in the Mopar Dodge.
You know, he's moved up so fast, Doc. I talked to him earlier, and he said, well, maybe it's not such a disadvantage to start towards the back. He and Fred were talking about, Fred Wenke, his crew chief, the fact, well, if we get an early caution flag, we'll come in, put some fuel in it and stuff like that. But he moved so far forward that he didn't want to give up that 11th position to make a pit stop.
Well, he certainly has come toward the front in a hurry. Musgrave, a 5-time winner this year, including 3 of the first 5 events in the 2001 season. Getting set for the restart here. Sprague and Crawford will lead him down.
Green.
Jack gets a pretty good jump on Rick going down into turn number 1. Jack's truck was so good in happy hour. Everybody in the garage here was talking about how good Jack's truck was in happy hour. But look at Rick Crawford moving on the inside.
Crawford coming off that runner-up finish at Texas last Friday night. Says, I want to lead this thing. Here comes the Milwaukee Electric Tools Ford for Rick Crawford.
Rock and Ray Stonkus, crew chief on this effort, had a good truck in happy hour. Made some changes this morning. Said if our changes work, we can run with Jack Sprague.
Here they come. Flashing by at 163 miles an hour. Ernie Elliott horsepower to the hood for Crawford. Still looking for that first win of the season. In practice sessions, or their alternating sessions, Sprague will be the fastest truck in one session yesterday. Then Crawford will be the fastest in the next session. Then they qualified, as you might expect, both on the front row.
I think happy hour, I think they were first and second again. So as you mentioned, just about every practice session this week, they have been 1-2.
And it has been a while since Rick Crawford has been to victory lane. 95 races ago. Try April 4th, 1998 at Homestead, Florida. His only NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series win. Boy, would they love to go to victory lane here today. Truck owned by Tom Mitchell out of Ozona, Texas, who owns a Circle Bar Motel and RV Park. Tom sitting by there at the RV park watching it. His daughter is actually here at the track to watch the race.
See, if you caught a look at Brian Reffin, the 7 truck there. He's having a great run up in the 12th position right now. Dennis Setzer on the inside of Willie T. Ribbs. Willie, we saw him make his unscheduled pit stop. There's Jack trying to get side by side with Rick going down in the turn number 1.
Jack Sprague, who had led the most laps in NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series overall at this racetrack, reassumes the lead here on lap 23. And let's check in the Crawford pits now with Ray Dunlap. Ray?
Well, Jerry, Crawford's record here is not too bad. He's got a pair of top 10s, but he's only led 2 laps at this racetrack. And there's a real simple reason why. I went and I said, Rick, you've been good at this track, but how come you haven't led much? He said, because of the 24. And the 24 just made the move back in front of him again. Looks like this could be a pretty good battle throughout the day. Now, Crawford's driving chassis number 1, which ran 3rd at Nashville, but it also had a good run at Kentucky, but they blew the engine there today. I asked Rick if that's a concern at this track. He said, absolutely not. They're confident with their horsepower, and he believes they have a truck that could win, but their big guy they got to concentrate on beating, of course, will be Sprague.
The good thing about running the same truck that he ran at Nashville, Doc, this is the exact same tire Goodyear brought to this racetrack that they ran at Nashville. So the tire means so much to these guys. So the fact that they have a little bit of a history with this tire with the same truck is certainly a benefit.
Absolutely. There is last week's winner, Travis Quapple. Became our 4th first-time winner this year in 2001 and the 2nd rookie to win. As Ricky Hendrick had won back in July at Kansas City.
Look at Ted Musgrave on the outside of Jim Engelbright there. That was equivalent of making it about 3 wide.
Engelbright's in 8th spot. Musgrave wants it. He comes to the high side. Down in turns 3 and 4, and Musgrave will take the spot away.
Ted, undoubtedly the changes, the engine change that his guys made has made a big difference. So he didn't think he was very good in happy hour, but he sure is running well right now.
Riding along with Jim Engelbright, Jelly Belly Candy's Chevy. They are due to make an announcement next week as to what Jim's plans will be for 2002. Love to have him here full-time in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, making his 8th start this year out of Fairfield, California. Early laps, it's Jack Sprague here chasing. Who else at Las Vegas? Back at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Jack Sprague, the 37-year-old 2-time champion, was our pole sitter, his 3rd pole in 5 starts here. He's a 2-time winner at this racetrack. He has led 26 of the 30 laps thus far, driving one of his favorite trucks, nicknamed Psycho, after his crew chief, affectionately nicknamed Psycho, I should say, after his crew chief, Dennis Conner, who gets a little excited at times. Back in 2nd spot in the chase is Rick Crawford, still looking for his first win this year, coming off a great run in Texas at Texas Motor Speedway last Friday night, where he finished 2nd.
Back in 3rd, we have Scott Riggs. Hard crash last night in the Winston West race. He had a shock come apart on his ultra-wheel Dodge and had a hard crash. I asked Scott if he was all right. He said, yeah, that was the hardest hit I've ever had in my career.
And speaking of which, let's check in their pits. Ray?
Well, Jerry, I was wondering if Riggs would have any problems driving today because of that big crash. He said, no, absolutely not. I'm too tough for that. Plus, I'm mean. But he's also mad about what happened to him in Texas because we do have such a good points race. Now, today, Scott's a little bit tight coming off of the corner, so they're going to make a chassis adjustment on this first pit stop. Air pressure and hopefully or possibly a wedge adjustment to try to loosen up the number 2.
I'll tell you, Doc, Scott may be mad. he may be mad, but he's not mean. He's a real good guy down there. The guy has a great attitude all the time.
And back to Ricky Hendrick in 4th position. Ricky, this truck, I should say, we were just talking a moment ago in break, is really flying down the straightaway.
Boy, it sure is. He came off of turn number 4 there and had Kyle Busch in his sights and just drove right around the outside of him. Almost looked like something happened, Kyle, but Ricky's going down the straightaway so well that he just put Kyle down, and Kyle's been able to stay up with him of just a few truck lengths behind, but Ricky is really going down the straightaway.
Never raced here before. They tested here last November. And speaking of local knowledge, how about 16-year-old Kyle Busch driving the number 99, making his 6th start. He started 3rd, currently being shown in 5th position.
Well, and Phil Parsons, we heard you say just a minute ago that it looked as though when the pass between Ricky Hendrick and the young Kyle Busch happened, that it was almost as if the 99 had a problem. Well, indeed, they did not, except for the fact that the truck has been tight the entire time. Crew Chief Jeff Campy is helping his young driver try to learn the track here, get some laps. So he told him, you know what, let the 17 go around you, get back in line, follow him. It's a long race. We've got a long way to go, and let's try to see if we can work on it later and get that truck handling a little bit better for you.
Thanks, Amy. Kyle basically started his racing career running at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the 3/8 mile right off of turn 2 here, and currently he has 15 late model starts this year at Las Vegas short track. He's got 10 wins, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, and 1 mechanical DNF. By the way, in 144 legend starts, he has won 74 times.
That's not too bad a record, really.
That's pretty awesome. Making only his 6th ever start in NASCAR's Craftsman trucks. And how about all the way from shotgun on the field comes the Mopar Dodge of Ted Musgrave, now being shown in 6th position.
Well, Jerry's having a good run, that's for sure, but they have a couple of problems. Number 1, Ted's talking about a vibration, which feels like it's coming from the drive shaft area. And he just came on the radio a minute ago and said, something is burning inside the cabin. I don't know what it is. They got a real bad smell inside, so something could be on fire there. Fred Wanke, the crew chief's talking about it to these guys, and he said, hey, keep me advised, but if you need to come down pit road, we'll look it over. But a couple of problems for Ted, even though he's run from the back up to the front.
Now he will make the pass, Ray, on the 99 truck of Kyle Busch for 5th spot. So he's only gained what, 31 spots in the first 36 laps.
But look at the line he's running. Ted actually chose to run that line. He's running real high up the racetrack. Jack Sprague's been pretty much running right around the bottom of the racetrack, but Ted's making some good time up at the top of the racetrack.
His favorite truck, Fred Wanke was telling me, same truck they ran Texas with and were running 2nd with 8 laps to go when they had a right front tire problem. He was running behind his teammate who had a problem with 6 laps to go.
Naturally, he pulled right back down on the bottom of the racetrack as I was talking about him running up high.
And here is Travis Quapple, last week's winner, becoming our 4th first-time winner in 2001, 2nd rookie to win. Travis is backslid to that's being shown in 7th position right now in the Cat Reynolds Chevrolet for Mike Addington.
He started 14th, so he's made a pretty good move up towards the front of the field.
Rick Wren becoming the only crew chief to guide 2 rookies to victory in the series. Of course, Andy Houston won 3 times driving for Mike Addington, and now Travis Quapple gets a win. They battled with the 99 truck of Kyle Busch. Kyle slides up across the racetrack and opens the door for Travis Quapple.
It's a great racetrack when you can run that high, 3 or 4 lanes wide like they just did right there. A good move by Travis Quapple there. He looks like he's going to get another spot here.
And Ted Musgrave now has moved beneath Ricky Hendrick to take the spot away. Musgrave goes to 4th position.
He is really picking him up and putting him down, this Ted Musgrave.
That may be the smell. It's maybe the fact he's just burning the tires off. He's running so well here, but
maybe rubber burning. That's what Ted's smelling.
We'll check on updating what's going on with Ted Musgrave. Keep an eye on him. Meanwhile, they are still chasing one man. The man who has got the purses here named Jackpots. Jack Sprague, the 3-time pole sitter and current leader. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is headed to the Southwest Phoenix International Raceway, the tough mile track in the desert. No track has hosted more Truck Series events, and actions will speak louder than words when the points leaders go at it under the Arizona sun. Jack Sprague has racked up 3 wins in Arizona, while Ruttman's a 2-time winner and the defending race champion. Who will come out on top in the championship standings? And there's Joe Ruttman's Dana Dodge. Ruttman won that race a year ago. The Chevy Silverado 150 coming your way on Friday, October 26, 6:30 Eastern Time. Our live flag-to-flag coverage on ESPN2 will all be there. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Exciting NASCAR Craftsman Truck action from Phoenix International Raceway. Joe Ruttman being shown in 10th position. He is currently second overall in the point standings coming into the day. Ruttman is 64 points behind Jack Sprague.
Drove up beside Dennis Setzer there going down to turn number 1. That's David Starr in the white, the number 3 truck right in front of them. Joe started back in the 13th position. Now he's moved up into 9th.
That's 8th, 9th, and 10th there on the screen. You saw David Starr. A lot of decisions David Starr has to make over the next few weeks. Has opportunities to come full-time in the NASCAR Craftsman trucks. Also can run in the NASCAR Busch Series next year. As you see Ruttman making a move on the inside.
Joe's looking good. He got underneath. David coming off turn number 4 was able to power by him, get in front of him, slide up, a little slide job up in front of him, and up into the 8th position.
So he's gained 2 spots, having gone by Setzer and now by Starr.
Talked to Joe's guys earlier today, and they said they had a real good truck in happy hour. They said they could adjust on a little bit on it and get it too tight, and they could adjust a little bit the other way and get it too loose. He said that we just need to get on top of that mound right in the middle.
The 17-time pole winner, 13-time winner, looking for his 110th top 10 finish here today. He can earn just over 101,000 these last 3 events. He will become the number 2 man on the all-time earnings list in the history of the NASCAR Craftsman trucks by going over $3 million in earnings.
That's pretty outstanding.
There's David Starr, the Chasco Contracting Chevrolet. The truck is owned by his uncle Mike Starr, who owns Team Texas Driving School, Texas Motor Speedway. This truck, by the way, is the one that Brian Refner used from the John Menard stable to win at Texas last October.
Yeah, David has a 3rd and a 4th this year at Texas. The 2 races we stop at Texas in NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series competition. 4th last week and 3rd earlier in June.
There's Dennis Setzer. Back in 10th spot, the Axion Chevrolet.
We're going to do 4 tires, and I need a 2-pound air pressure adjustment for cross. Head forward, going 2 pounds on the right rear.
He's trying to loosen the car up a little bit, put a little more air in the right rear tire. We heard it in his truck talking about put some air in the right rear tire to free the truck up a little bit. David actually won a Winston West race here in last year in the year 2000.
Spring of 2000, sure did. He will run at in the finale at California coming up on November 30, Auto Club 200, where we'll be out there at California Speedway in Fontana. And he said that he would love to come full-time in 2002 to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. A number of owners have called him, and as you take a look at the MB&A Chevrolet for Coy Gibbs, our 10th place point man in the pits.
It's a little bit early. We're 49 laps into this race. Most of the guys, as you mentioned earlier, Doc, pit window's about 55, maybe to 65. This is a little bit early. He may have had enough of a handling problem that he felt like he needed to get in, short stop a little bit, try to get some fresh tires on the truck, and maybe gain some speed for the other guys when they come in later.
Doug George, who is the crew chief, is the former, in fact, 1995 Winston West champion, in charge of that Joe Gibbs racing operation down there for Coy, who makes a pit stop and 4-tire change. Well, we move in on 50 laps to go next time by. Pit stops coming up very shortly. Jack Sprague still leading. NASCAR coverage of the Craftsman Truck Series exclusively on ESPN. And the Chasco contracting machine of David Starr on pit road. Amy?
Well, we were listening to his radio transmission earlier. He'd gone from 5th back to 9th, tight condition, up 2 pounds in that right rear. As Phil Parsons said, that will help loosen up his truck. They now go around to the left side. Now, this is a pit crew that is not used to doing pit stops, so doing a 4-tire stop is a big deal for these guys. They just want to make sure they don't get mistakes. They're not going for fast. They're going for no mistakes, and it seems to be a nice, clean stop for the team.
Pretty good stop for David Starr and company. Meanwhile, real good battle waging for second spot as Scott Riggs was down pinched against that white line. And actually, that was the lead, because here's the leader on pit road, the Net Zero Chevrolet for Jack Sprague here on lap 55. Headed down to Dennis Conner and company at 45 miles an hour. Ray Dunlap.
Well, Jerry's a little loose in the center, so they're going to go down 1 pound on all 4 tires. They're planning on putting a half a round up on the track bar to try to make that truck handle just a little bit better for Sprague. Corey Quick is the changer on the front. Cole Chitty's on the rear. Craig Smokestad is the gas man. Pretty smooth stat. You see that the chassis wrench is in there, and they go around. That's just a half a round up on the track bar. The 1 and the 2 are also down here, and the number 2 comes in, Scott Riggs. Riggs was tied off, so they're going to have air pressure in the right rear there to try to get his truck to handle a little bit better. And the right sides are done, and they come around and they decide they're going to do 4 tires on the number 2 truck. So this will be a little bit longer pit stop. The number 1 also got 4 tires, and he's off. Ted Musgrave was a little bit tight off in the corner. Good pit stop for the front 3 trucks here. Amy East.
Well, just as good as Jack Sprague's pit crew is, so is Ricky Hendricks. He's going to come down and get 4 tires, also make some chassis adjustments. The truck hasn't been too bad, but it has been a little bit tight. Really smooth on the right side, and now go to the left side. Rick Crawford's in. Ray Dunlap.
Little lengthy pit stop here for Crawford as they do right sides only for the Milwaukee number 14. They also made an air pressure adjustment on the right rear for Crawford.
So pit stops under the green flag here, laps 54 to 58. You watch Travis Quapple now coming out of the pits, actually coming into his pits and diving in front of Rick Wren and company. Last week's winning team, the Cat Rental crew going to work. Let's go back down the Ray.
Well, Jerry, Travis Quapple, another guy complaining about tight conditions. So also another one of those trucks that's going to do air pressure. They went around to the right side, got that service complete, now to the left side. So a number of these trucks going for 4 tires and a couple with just 2. Now let's check in on the 99 truck with Amy East.
Great stop for the Eldon Ford team, giving Kyle Busch 4 tires and making a chassis adjustment to help free up his truck.
A lot of trouble on Travis Quapple's pit stop. You know, his pit stop last week had a lot to do with him winning that race, and the guys had a little trouble there. His pit stop was over 25 seconds. Very uncharacteristic of this pit crew.
And he's headed back out on the racetrack. We mentioned talking about a lot of these guys being very tight as you watch Terry Cook in the pits. Let's check in with Amy.
Well, Terry was extremely tight in happy hour yesterday. They changed just about everything on this truck, and now he's just a little loose. Remember, he had some bad luck early. He had that screwdriver in the catch can outlet, so he, like Musgrave, had to battle his way from the back to the front. He gets 4 tires as Dave Matei and Dave Brinks tighten up those lug nuts. Great stop for the Power Stroke crew. Ray Dunlap.
Well, Joe Ruttman brings the Dana Dodge in. He was loose in the middle off, so they're going to make a chassis adjustment here also. Ruttman complaining about the truck also having a vibration like we heard from Musgrave. So quite a few problems for the drivers in the early part of this race. This will be a couple of stops for this race, and this first one here going pretty smoothly as it is a 4-tire stop for Joe Ruttman and the guys. They've got the tires done, fuel is in, and 18-3 for the 18 crew.
Great stop by Danny Rollins and company, exactly, Ray, for the Dana Dodge. Ruttman running second in points, was the leader when he came on the pit road a moment ago. Well, now the 62, the Napa Dodge, the Orleans machine for Brendan Gaughan, being shown as our leader. Orleans, of course, the sponsor of this race, the Orleans 350.
See, Brendan pitted back on lap 17. That's why he's able to stay out and run longer than the rest of the guys. He has a lot more fuel than they did, so they had to stop for fuel, and Brendan has 17 extra laps of fuel.
But he will still have to make 2 more stops, and these other guys, if we were to stay green, can make it on 1 more stop.
That's right.
The Napa Dodge for Brendan Gaughan. Brendan had an impressive run at Texas early in the year when he finished second from 30th starting spot back on June the 9th. Won the NASCAR Winston West event here last night at Texas Motor Speedway. He is the reigning NASCAR Winston West Series champion, and he's our leader here in the Orleans 350. We take a break and come back in just a moment. Action last night here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the NASCAR Winston West Series event. That's John Wood, who ran out of gas running second in the late laps, and a heavy hard hit by the Ultra Wheels and Dodge Intrepid for Scott Riggs. And the winner, 26-year-old Brendan Gaughan, in the Napa Martin Seymour Chevrolet Monte Carlo, celebrating with that American flag at the left side window. Brendan Gaughan, reigning NASCAR Winston West Series champion, a winner here last night in the 24-hour fitness 150. See, Gaughan finished first. John Wood finished ninth after running out of gas, and Scott Riggs had hard impact after a shock came apart. He finished back in 20th position. And let's check in, speaking of Brendan Gaughan, let's check in his pits once again with Ray.
Well, Jerry, as Phil said, they pitted back at lap 16 there. They were a little bit tight in the center off, but now Brendan's saying to his crew chief, Shane Wilson, that he's a little bit loose right now. Now, Shane is one of the crew chiefs that actually changes tires down here on the pit road. He's the rear tire changer. We also see in the number 18 crew, Danny Rollins goes over the wall too, but that's kind of uncommon these days. Usually the crew chief sits on the box, but Shane Wilson, one of the active guys that gets in there and gets his hands dirty.
Thanks, Ray. Now, Phil, I got to ask you, we heard so many of these drivers complained about their trucks being tight, with the exception maybe if Jack Sprague was a little loose in the middle and they were making an air pressure adjustment. But everyone else talking about push, the trucks getting tighter and tighter coming off the corner. Why is it such a problem here?
Well, this is a real air-sensitive racetrack, and the guys really don't feel like they can get enough front down force on the front of the trucks to hold the front down to keep them from sliding the front end, come through the center of the corner and off the corner. So the guys have really worked on it extremely hard to try to get the trucks the front end actually physically down on the racetrack, so they run as softer front springs as they can, a lot of rebound in the shocks, and sometimes it's still not enough. But when you do that, a lot of times you'll get a truck, you'll try to free it up so much from the center off, you'll get loose getting in the corner. So that's a fine line between getting the truck free enough that you can get turned through the center and off the corner, and not being too loose entering the corner.
I see that. Now we understand. Thank you very much. There's the interval shrinking between Brendan Gaughan and Jack Sprague, down to a little less than 7 seconds now. Sprague, left side of your screen in the Net Zero Chevrolet. Our current points leader with just 3 events remaining, 2 after today. We head out to Phoenix a week from Friday for the big one out there, the Chevy Silverado 150 on Friday, October 26th, and then California Speedway for the curtain call. Bring down the curtain for the Auto Club 200. There is Matt Crafton in the 88. Being shown in 3rd position. Good run for Matt Crafton in the Easy Up Tents Chevrolet. Amy?
Well, just like Brendan Gaughan, Matt Crafton is also on a different pit sequence. He came down on lap 19 for fuel only. Why? Well, because crew chief Jerry Cook knows sometimes the equipment might not be able to get you to the front, but some good pit strategy is what gives you good finishes. And here at the end of the season, this team desperately needs to have a good run. Matt Crafton feels comfortable here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway and told Jerry, let's go for it. Let's roll the dice, buddy. So they came down, they took some fuel on lap 19, and they've got some great track position right now. But around lap 80, he's going to have to come down and get some more fuel.
Big family reunion this weekend for Matt. His grandparents are here. His sister Stacy's here. His family lives in Tulare, California. They made the drive to Las Vegas to watch. They don't get to see Matt race very often in person. They get to watch him on our ESPN coverage. So a lot of folks here pulling for Matt Crafton. They're driving for Duke Thorson and Jerry Cook.
Matt has had a great year. He's got a number of top 10 finishes, been really strong most of the year. Right now, as Amy mentioned, he's going to have to stop probably inside of 10 laps for fuel. He's going to need fuel, and he'll probably put tires on. So he desperately needs a caution flag right now, and that would allow him to pit under caution and stay in the lead lap, because if he pits now under green, he's probably going to go a lap behind Jack Sprague.
And as you mentioned, is one of our rookie drivers, currently 3rd in the rookie points. His best finish is a couple of 6th place at Martinsville and at Pikes Peak. Give a call to Chris Horn in the 58 truck, the NASCAR Kids Multivitamin Chevrolet, with the big GNC on the side of his Chevy, running in 11th spot, or now being shown in 12th spot as Dennis Setzer goes by. But good run for Chris Horn.
I mean, Chris was another one of those guys that did a little bit different pit strategy, but he's had a pretty good truck. He's been within the top 15, top 20 in all the practice sessions, including happy hours, so really doing a great job.
Chris, a 27-year-old out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, in the 58 truck. Amy?
Well, you guys were right. Another truck on some unique pit strategy here on around lap 74 or 75, because he's bad loose. He's going to come down and take left side tires and the fuel that he was going to need around lap 80 anyway.
All right, thank you very much, Amy. We'll keep an eye on Chris. There's Brian Rose going by in the 51 Sun Clear Energy Chevy. And now here comes Hornets, as Amy had said. He slows down and heads for pit road at 45 miles an hour.
See that first white line there? You have to be 45 miles an hour by the time you get to that first white line, and you have to maintain that through each one of these sequences of white lines.
Now Chris is in. We'll take a look. Looks like left side tires under the green flag. Trying to get it full of fuel. Young man from Iowa, hoping to be able to run full-time in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. 27 years of age from Cedar Rapids. Trying to get the grill clean. Battle for third spot, heating up on the racetrack. Ford has it. Dodge wants it. Crawford has it. Here comes Musgrave. Rick Crawford says, I don't think so. Not in this turn anyway. I'm going to hang on.
So Ted had to back off a little bit there to keep the front end of the truck from washing out into Rick Crawford. So that's why Rick gained a little bit. But Fred's got a great truck and made a tremendous move from the very back of the pack. There's a pass for the lead right there.
Jack Sprague trying to go by Brendan Gaughan and the Napa Auto Parts Dodge trying to hold on. But here comes Sprague zipping by. Fresher tires for Jack Sprague. And they are still side by side. Back a great battle between the 14 and the 1. Great, you see it from that camera on the bed there of the Mopar Dodge.
See Ted get his truck turned in the center of the corner there, and it looks he got a great run going. Got by Rick Crawford coming off turn number 4. Eddie Thrapp telling Ted good job. One of the best spotters out there, Eddie Thrapp. Looked like Ted wiggled a little bit there. Rick pulled right up behind him, maybe taking a little bit of air off the spoiler, got a little bit loose, but Ted's got such a good truck right now. We'll see if he can do anything to chase down our leader, Jack Sprague.
You see, we are past the halfway point. We are 4 laps past, and now, as you heard him mention a moment ago, Brendan Gaughan out of sequence, having pitted on lap 17, will come down for his second pit stop of the day. Headed to you, Ray.
Well, Jerry, they want to do 4 tires on this pit stop and also make a chassis adjustment because, as I said, they did track bar and wedge last time, and that just made them too loose. So they got to tighten this truck back up just a little bit. Shane Wilson is the rear tire changer. Harley Roush on the front. These guys just trying to get things together. Some of them from the Winston West crew, some of them from the future truck crew here, trying to build a team and get things together. Mike Masters is the jack man. A pretty reasonable stop so far. They get the left side up, maybe just a tick slower. They've got the first can of gas in. Second can of gas is ready to go. Rear tires are done. A little bit of problem with the front tires, 26.7. So somewhat of a lengthy stop. These guys got a bit to learn as they get ready for next year.
And they will learn because they're going to run full time in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. There's the Napa crew. Brendan making this his 6th start this year, coming off a great runner-up in Texas back in June. Back in just a moment. Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. For the Orleans 350, I'm Jerry Punch, along with Phil Parsons, Amy East, and Ray Dunlap. Glad to have you with us here for the 5th visit ever by the NASCAR Craftsman Trucks here to the 1.5-mile Las Vegas Oval. And coming up a week from Friday, we head out to Phoenix International Raceway on Friday, October 26, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Our live flag-to-flag coverage of the Chevy Silverado 150. That's live at 6:30 Eastern Time on ESPN2. NASCAR Craftsman Trucks headed out to Phoenix, the next to the last race of the year. For more, log on to ESPN.com. And in case you aren't aware, we have a great battle for the championship as the 81 truck goes up in smoke. That is Trent Owens, the Ware Racing Enterprises Chevrolet, and a tough break for Trent, who was excited about plans for next year, running full-time for Rookie of the Year. That's a truck that's owned actually by Preston Countryman, being entered out of the Rick Ware stable. They bought that from Brendan Gaughan. It was a former Brendan Gaughan Chevrolet. That will bring out caution for the 2nd time here on lap 85. Well, it'll be interesting now with pit strategy. We'll figure it out and come back and see who will pit and who will not. Maybe someone can make it the rest of the way. Back in a moment. Back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, working the 2nd caution flag today, brought out by the 81 truck of Trent Owens when he had some problems with the Ware Racing Enterprises Chevrolet. And just a moment ago, we had all three leaders. In fact, many of the trucks on pit road. We'll show you the triple split. Top of your screen, the Chevy. Middle is Dodge. Bottom is Ford. That is Sprague, Musgrave, and Crawford coming down for what could be the final pit stop of the day. This one under caution flag.
We're going to see a little bit of strategy here. These guys are going to change only 2 tires. You see Rick Crawford on the bottom of the screen only getting left sides. The top 2 guys, Jack Sprague and Ted Musgrave, getting right side tires.
Crawford only got 2 tires on his very first stop back on lap 58, so he takes on left side tires this time. Good pit stops, 10-1, 10-2, 10-4. Some very competitive pit crews as they made their stop here on lap number 85. It's a 146 lap race, so they have to go 61 laps from here to the finish. The most anyone has gone on their initial pit stop was Joe Ruttman, who went 58 laps. So got to be concerned. Maybe they'll gamble. Let's check in right now in the pits with Ray.
Well, Jerry, I think that is the issue. Dennis Conner said to Jack Sprague, I don't know if we can make it. We'll figure it out once we weigh the gas and get it all figured out. Now, you saw those were very competitive times for those 3 trucks on their pit stops. But the one truck that didn't have a very good stop was the number 2 of Scott Riggs. The reason? He came into his box a little bit crooked. They had to back up because he was over an air hose. So the 2 truck lost a lot of time here on pit road because he had to back up, and that caused some problems there.
Well, missed opportunities. We told you about what happened at Texas last week when Riggs led 128 of the 146 laps, only to have a tire come apart with 6 laps to go. He could have gained big time in the points race. And now a problem in the pits, creating a problem for Riggs. We're under caution for the second time here due to an incident involving the 81 truck. Now, good communication is the key to success in any kind of racing. In this week's Craftsman Pit Profile, we meet a team that is faced with a unique communication problem each and every week.
As the only Mexican driver in NASCAR, Carlos Contreras has had to overcome a language barrier. But with help from brother Enrique, the transition has been a successful one.
Enrique, we know it's sometimes hard for you to find the right English words for the Spanish words. How hard has it been to help your brother Carlos learn the English for some of these words that we use when the truck's upset?
Yeah, you're right. It was hard last year, but he's okay right now. He can speak very well, and he can tell the crew chief exactly what's the truck doing, and it's not anymore a problem.
Now when you come to the races, the crew members want to know Spanish, don't they?
Yeah, we teach some words, some good ones and some bad words.
Okay, well, esperamos que Carlos gane pronto.
Yeah, we hope so.
Okay, you know what I said there, Jerry, don't you?
Absolutely. You said I'll take a taco with extra fried bread. She was hoping that he gets to the front in a hurry. Hopes he does. Well, there's the Hot Wheels Dodge. Thank you, Amy, for Enrique and Carlos Contreras. Carlos' English, by the way, has gotten much, much better this year. Here he's worked very, very hard on it, and he's done a very, very nice job. So nice little Craftsman Pit Profile showing family involvement and how they overcome the language barrier.
Get ready. Get ready. Get ready.
Brendan Gaughan and Matt Crafton in the front of the field right now are both on the tail end of the lead lap. Our leader, Jack Sprague, is right behind Matt Crafton on the outside.
He'll try to get by Crafton because that'll give Gaughan a chance to get by. The 29 truck of Terry Cook is a lap down. He's on the inside of Sprague. He'd like to be able to get by Sprague and then have the caution come back out. Second place truck. Here comes the Mopar Dodge up high for Musgrave. That is for the lead. Side by side, 2 by 2 in turn 3. Here comes Crawford. Here comes Kyle Busch, a 16-year-old. Looking back from Brendan Gaughan in the Orleans Napa on board. There's the 24, the net zero, looking across from Ted Musgrave's viewpoint.
There's a little bit of room on the inside. Brendan Gaughan got high. Open the door for Jack Sprague.
Clear.
Now Sprague is able to dispense with the lap trucks. We'll see what Musgrave can do because he's sort of stuck back in there behind as the Crawford. Rick Crawford has gone by Musgrave for second spot.
So concerned watching Jack Sprague take the lead. I didn't even see Rick Crawford pass Ted Musgrave.
There's the Milwaukee Electric Tools Ford for Rick Crawford. Still looking for that first win. Been 95 races since Crawford has gone to victory lane in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Still on the inside with Brendan Gaughan up high.
Brendan hanging in there pretty well. He's a lap down now. Jack Sprague was able to get by him to put him a lap down. Rick Crawford desperately wants to get by Brendan Gaughan, not race him anymore, get by so he can see if he can catch Jack Sprague, our leader.
And there's the 1 truck of Musgrave right up in front of the 99 of Kyle Busch. That is 4th position. So Sprague is our leader. The 14 truck there on the right side of your screen is the 2nd place truck. You see Sprague moving away by about 12 truck lengths. 3rd place truck was the 1. Now the 99 getting up a little racy. That's Kyle Busch making a pass, or trying to make a pass on Musgrave.
On the outside. Outside groove has really come in well during this race. You see Brendan Gaughan, he's able to keep Rick Crawford behind him, or beside him at any rate. Kyle Busch is able to make the pass. Ted Musgrave's trying to pull back on the inside of him.
Kyle Busch looking to run full time next year with the Jack Roush Racing Stable, Max Jones and company. Boy, he's even impressive in just 6 starts. He can only run 1 more race this year. That'll be the finale in California. They will have Greg Biffle in this truck to be able to preserve Kyle Busch's rookie status. Biffle will drive it at Phoenix coming up a week from Friday.
Greg Biffle, a winner this year in that truck at Nazareth, Pennsylvania. A dominating performance. So it's an awfully good truck. Jeff Lampe and all his guys do a great job week in, week out, and they've got Kyle Busch running up front right now.
Biffle only led 192 and 200 laps that day.
Well, then it wasn't very dominating.
No, he did it all. We'll have Greg back. We look forward to having Greg, the reigning NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion, back in that truck at Phoenix coming up a week from Friday. Laps are clicking away here. 93 are complete. Jack Sprague is our leader. Teenage sensation Kyle Busch had made the most of his 5 starts in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. A qualifying spin at IRP would not keep him from logging a top 10 in his first career start. At Chicago, he looked to win it all until his fuel pickup failed, leaving him stranded and out of contention. At Richmond, the ride was rough as he spun through the infield grass, settling for a 27th place finish. Another Virginia short track presented problems as a loose tire at South Boston resulted in hard contact with the outside wall. His first super speedway event ended in contact with the Texas wall. Today, he returns to his Las Vegas roots, just a few feet away from his short track home. And there's Kyle Busch. And we mentioned he cut his teeth on the 3/8 mile short track just off of turn 2 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. He's the hometown hero. 6th start in the NASCAR Craftsman Trucks. Best finish is 9th at IRP, although he could have won Chicago with a little more fuel. Look at 74 wins and 144 Legends car starts. He's won 10 of 15 late model starts this year, and very excited about what could happen in 2002, running full time for Max Jones and Jack Roush Racing here in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. We are under yellow, by the way, for the 3rd time, coming out on lap 97. And unfortunately, after a great qualifying run, the best of the year, Jim Englebright has taken the Jelly Belly Candy Chevy back to the garage area.
It's going to be interesting to see if these guys are going to pit or not. They just pitted back on lap 85. We wondered about fuel mileage, but right now it looks like they're staying out, Ray.
Well, Phil, I don't know if it's as much fuel mileage as it may be tires for Jack Sprague. He's talking it over right now with Dennis Conner, and he said, look, how many laps do we have on these lefts? Because the last time all they changed was right side tires on lap 85. So I think Sprague wants those left side tires just as bad as he does the fuel.
The pit road was closed that time. That's why none of the guys came down pit road. So they have another minute and a half to think about whether they're going to pit or not. We saw David Starr top his tank off at the very tail end of the previous caution flag. So we feel like he can probably go the rest of the way.
Now take a look from the onboard camera, looking back off the CarQuest Dodge at Jim Englebright in the Jelly Belly's Chevy, and boom, a lot of smoke from the back of that machine.
Well, you know, that was breathtaking for that white truck that was right behind Jim Englebright, when all of a sudden that thing just erupted in smoke right in front of him.
Well, Jim's 8th run this year. He no longer could keep his rookie status. He has 2 14th place finishes at Kentucky and Milwaukee, and his career best start qualifying 6th here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and all those jelly beans on the back. Now his truck sitting in the garage area. Jim hoping to come full time next year. Needs a little sponsorship help But and a tough one here. He'll finish out the season with us by running at Phoenix and California, the completed 10-race deal he had this year with the fine folks at the Jelly Belly Candy Company. Ray?
Well, Jerry, we've heard about the crapshoots, and they did it on the radio right here as Dennis Conner and Sprague decided to stay out. They will not pit this time, but there are a couple of trucks that will come. The 14's coming for sure. He needs right side tires, and I believe Musgrave's going to come down pit road too. So the 18 also is coming. The 3, we know the 60 needs to get tires. So a bunch of these guys have decided that they don't want to go the distance, another 46 laps remaining in this race, with not getting tires. So Crawford, who's had a very fast truck, comes in here. They're going to do right side tires on the number 14. Buddy Ogle's on the front, Cal Beaupre on the rears. These guys have had pretty smooth stops throughout the year. Now let's check in on the 18 with Amy East.
Well, as the 18 exits the pits, the 60 goes right behind him. They gave Travis right side tires. That was the team that last week won. Travis, is there a problem, Ray?
Yeah, there was, Amy, because the hose got stuck on the left front wheel of the number 14 Milwaukee Electric Ford, and that was the problem why he could not leave the pit road. So that hose got stuck in there. He lost quite a few positions as the 18 and the 1 got by him. You know, trouble again once here in the pits for Rick Crawford.
Well, a tough break. There is the 62 truck, the Napa Auto Parts Dodge for Brendan Gaughan. Stopped here at the start-finish line.
I'm sure that was a situation where he was trying to beat Jack Sprague back to the line to get his lap back, and undoubtedly thought he did, but NASCAR thought otherwise, and so he's having to wait for the field right now.
And race director Richmond Gates is just sit right there. We'll have the field catch it, and we'll all be back in order. Be back for the green flag in just a moment. Lots of action coming your way. Sunday night NFL action. Join Mike, Patrick, and all the gang as the Oakland Raiders head up to Indianapolis at the RCA Dome to take on Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts. That's 8:30 Eastern Time, 5:30 Pacific. ESPN Sunday night NFL football. For more, log on to ESPN.com. That should be a good one at 8:30 tonight. We got a good one here in the final laps at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 44 laps to go.
There's Rick Crawford leaving the pits. He was black flagged. We're going to show you why now. He was black flagged. Ray mentioned they had trouble with an air hose. We'll take a look at what happened here. You watch the right front tire changer. Look at the Rick started to take off there. His air hose was stuck in the left front fender. There it was right there. So he actually ran over the air hose with the left front. That's why NASCAR black flagged him, came in for a stop and go penalty. So he goes back to the very back of the lead lap truck. So it was really only 10 trucks in the lead lap, so it didn't hurt him that bad because he had a bad pit stop to start with.
As we get set for the restart after working third caution flag of the day by a tough break for Jim Englebright, losing an engine in his Chevy. Remember, Jack Sprague did not pit, neither did his teammate Ricky Hendrick. The 24 and 17 are teammates, and they will lead him down to the green flag.
Actually, the front 5 trucks did not pit. Ted Musgrave and 6 is the first truck that actually pitted for 2 more tires on that pit stop. Kyle Busch trying to jump on the outside of Dennis Setzer, making 3 wide down in turn number 1.
And opens the door inside for the 2 truck of Riggs inside of Busch. They are 3 wide off of turn 2.
Ted Musgrave, center of the screen, fighting for a hole there, trying to find a place to go. Got by Kyle Busch. Now Joe Rubin right there. We're looking out at Kyle Busch's Eldon Ford. Scott Riggs leading his teammate Ted Musgrave by the lap truck of Billy Bigley.
Up front, Jack Sprague's the leader, but side by side with him, trying to stay on the lead lap is Brendan Gaughan, and now Gaughan has pulled in front of Sprague.
3 wide right behind them. Dennis Setzer on the inside, Ricky Hendrick on the outside. That's for the 2nd position.
There's the 17 of Hendrick, Setzer the 46. There's Riggs and Musgrave, teammates side by side, the 2 and the 1, as they battle for 4th spot.
Racing for every position right now.
Kyle Busch behind them in the 99, as you said. Behind Kyle is the 18, the Dana Dodge of Ruttman. We now have 11 trucks in the lead lap, with Brendan Gaughan on the tail end of the lead lap, right in front of our leader, the 11th truck.
Ted was able to get by his teammate Scott Riggs. Look at Kyle Busch on the outside of Scott Riggs in the 99 truck.
Kyle now dives to the inside of the 88 of Matt Crafton. Now looks at the inside of Musgrave.
We talked about how good Ricky Hendrick's engine was when he passed Kyle Busch. Kyle had a strong engine right there coming off turn number 4.
Good Roush horsepower in that 99 for Kyle. And as we watch this battle, let's check in the garage area where Amy is caught up with Jim Englebright.
Thanks, Jerry. Our latest caution was because of you, Jim. That's not good. What happened?
Oh, I don't know. Something happened going down the back straightaway. The motor just let go on me. Knocked all the jelly bellies all out of the back of it. Lost my jelly beans.
Well, that's not good. How about for the rest of the year and next year? How much more are we going to see you here in the Truck Series?
Well, we're going to run the next 2. We'll be at Phoenix and California, and as of next year, we don't have any plans yet. But we're trying to get something together so we can run the whole season.
Okay, well, in the next 2 races, let's hold on to those jelly bellies, all right?
I'm going to try to. Thanks a lot, guys.
Jim Englebright, one of the all-time nicest guys you'd want to meet in this sport. I would love to have him full-time, and he would love to be here full-time. Still looking for sponsorship for 2002. Great action here. Musgrave in the Mopar Dodge. Being shown in 3rd spot, Ricky Hendrick, the impressive rookie, back in 4th. Right in front of them is Dennis Setzer, who is in 2nd position. Great run for Dennis Setzer. His mom and dad, by the way, right here from Conover, North Carolina. Jerry and Tommy Setzer making a trip to Las Vegas. There is Jack Sprague, the Net Zero Chevrolet that's being shown as a leader. He's gone back around Brendan Gaughan to put him a lap down.
We saw Jack give Brendan a wave there to say, hey, thanks for giving me some room. I think if we got a caution flag and Jack had enough time, I think he would back off and let Brendan Gaughan have his lap back. Here we go, battle.
And Setzer trying to hold on, but Musgrave drives it down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Still out there. Clear.
Ted got the clear sign there. Was able to pull right up in front. And now Ricky Hendrick trying to pull up on the outside of Dennis
There you
Setzer.
go, back. Go get him.
And we'll see if he can go get him. They told him to go get him. We'll see if Musgrave has got anything for that 24 team that has been awfully, awfully stout. Back with more in just a moment. Friday night, the brand new ESPN Zone in Las Vegas hosted an autograph session for the Nascar Craftsman Truck Series. Fans were able to meet and greet some of their favorite drivers as they signed hero cards, took pictures, and gave out prizes and tickets for today's race. Among some of the drivers who participated was Terry Cook. Jack Sprague signed some of his old memorabilia. And recent race winner Travis Quapple. The drivers were all happy to be there, and everyone was excited to have the Truck Series back in Las Vegas again. And great crowd over at the ESPN Zone for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series autograph appearance and signing. Pretty good crowd here on the racetrack, too. Good battle up here. Crawford in the 14. The Kyle Busch is there. How about Ruttman getting racing the Dana Dodge?
That's a battle for 6th on back. They've been Kyle Busch and Rick Crawford have been side by side for 4 laps.
There's Riggs on the right side of your screen. So we got 4 trucks right together. 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Great view out of Joe Ruttman's onboard, the Dana Dodge. See Kyle Busch able to drive hard down on the corner because he's on the outside. Rick Crawford has to be a little more careful because as he's on the inside, he doesn't want to lose the front end and slide up the hill.
You guys are seeing Kyle Busch. You want to know where the other Roush truck is. John Wood. He had a great qualifying effort and moved up into the top 7 right away. And the truck got a little out of shape and tagged the wall. So an early exit for John Busch. He will end up finishing in 31st position.
There's David Starr in a 3 truck coming back in it, right on the back bumper of Scott Riggs in the 2 truck. That's a battle for the 9th position. I guess the battle actually goes all the way to the 6th position from all the way back from 10th place, David Starr.
Take a look at the trail of the title here, the best finishes at the remaining tracks, and take a look. Sprague certainly has the advantage. He has won, 7 times at these last 3 racetracks, including twice here in Las Vegas, 3 at Phoenix, twice at California. Ruttman is a 2-time winner at Phoenix, including the race a year ago. And Scott Riggs has never been to some of these racetracks, including this one at Vegas and Phoenix. He was 16th last year at California, so the edge certainly goes to Sprague right now in the final 3 events of the year.
Scott has fallen back to the 10th position. David Starr in the 3 truck has got by Scott, so Scott's all the way back in the 10th position. Joe Ruttman, one of the guys that pitted and got the other side tires, actually got left side tires on lap 100, and he's running pretty well right now up in the 7th position. Getting a battle from Rick Crawford on the inside.
Well, points as of right now with Jack Sprague's domination, having led 4 times for 93 laps today. If he were to hold on and win, the advantage would increase to 98 points over Joe Ruttman. It was 64 coming in. Riggs will be over 139 back, then Quapple, then Musgrave. The top 5 in points. But the big question is, with the caution came out a little bit ago, Jack Sprague did not come down pit road. And I'm wondering, as good a truck as, did they make a mistake by not pitting?
Well, I don't know. Right now, that he's got a little bit less than a second lead. Ted Musgrave has actually caught Jack Sprague some because Ted did come in, put on left side tires, and so he's got a little bit fresher tires than Jack Sprague, and obviously more fuel.
Well, Sprague pitted, if you're keeping count at home, Sprague pitted on lap 85, which means he has to go 61 laps to the checkered flag. The most anyone has gone today is 58, and that was Joe Ruttman. I know the B&R engines are pretty good with Kenny Bingham and Ronnie Revis, but fuel mileage, that's a lot of horsepower and a long way to go.
Well, it sure is. But you also have to remember we had 3 pace laps. When Joe Ruttman ran 58 laps, he ran 58 laps on the racetrack, but actually ran 3 pace laps before that. So if you count caution laps, just like pace laps, and that's really 61 laps, because Jack's also run some laps under caution, which will get a little bit better fuel mileage under caution.
And what that means is Jack will run out of gas in the last lap.
That's right. As far as Jack Sprague's, but that's fine as long as it's on the other side of the start-finish line.
Folks, don't go anywhere. These final 25 are going to be exciting because not only is a win up for grabs, but possibly a series title with just 3 events remaining, 2 after today. Jack Sprague is the leader. In second spot is Ted Musgrave. Then comes Travis Quapple, last week's winner, Dennis Setzer, and Ricky Hendrick in the top 5. Less than 25 laps remaining here in the Orleans 350 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Will the leader have enough fuel to make it all the way? Could Musgrave steal one from the back of the pack? We'll find out when we come back. And almost spinning out back at Las Vegas. Ruttman just does hang on. Can he keep it out of the wall? And the man second in points will keep it out of the wall as the caution comes out. And that spin right there, he got very high. Look at the smoke peeling off that left front tire. There was some contact there, and he's pushed that fender back in against the tire, and Joe Ruttman's Dana Dodge will head to pit road. And Joe, what a job he did hanging on to that truck.
Unbelievable. I thought it was gone. They were racing 3 wide going down through turns number 1 and 2. And I said, when he got sideways, that he is gone. He's going to back in the wall. And I think the only damage is on the left front. And I think that's from the inside wall. So he did a heck of a job keeping it out of the outside wall.
3 of them going in there all together. One of them might have just
so the tire, right now, the tire just blew out right there. He was running on it was flat, but then it just blew out and starting to disintegrate.
You see all the debris coming out from underneath the truck, the Dana Dodge there. Let's show you again what happened. We were just coming out of commercial. Watch this move. Watch Ruttman.
In the middle of the Kyle Busch, he got a little bit loose, just as we saw on an earlier situation. Got a little bit loose in between those 2 trucks. Was did a heck of a job keeping it. You see he's nailed the throttle. That's why the wheels are still spinning. Got it down out of the outside wall, away from the outside wall, but coming in the inside wall, just going to make a little bit of contact right there on the inside wall.
Now from the Dana Dodge onboard camera, there is Milwaukee's, there's the Rick Crawford truck on the inside.
They're going by the start-finish line right there. Now they're going down into turn number 1. Remember, Kyle Busch is on the outside of Joe Ruttman. Hear him, Doc, jumping that throttle to keep that truck from backing up into the outside wall.
Lots of smoke still inside his cockpit as he bounces off that inside wall. He's in the pits right in front of you, Amy.
He sure is, and that left front is so far down. There's a little bit of flame coming from underneath the Dana Dodge. They can't get the jack underneath. They need a little assistance now. Get it. Danny Rollins, crew chief and front tire changer, now pulls off the steaming hot left front tire. A little bit of trouble to get all the rubber out there. They're having a lot of trouble now. The jack fell down. Come on, boys. We need to get that handle tight. Let's keep that 18 up. They're going to put the left sides on now. Very disappointed team. Remember, they were doing a little bit different pit sequence there. They came down under the last caution to try to give them some fresh tires, and it seems as though, as you guys said, it looks like there may have been some contact, may have been a left front tire situation, but he was second coming into this thing. A disappointed Dana crew.
Wow. remarkably, he will stay on the lead lap as there are only 10 trucks in the lead lap, and Joe Ruttman has had some repairs to his damaged left front fender on the Dana Dodge. The wheel tire comes apart. Back to the green flag in just a moment. Back in Las Vegas Motor Speedway, that was the left front tire off the Dana Dodge of Joe Ruttman. There's nothing wrong with Goodyear. That tire was cut down after some contact. We'll show you why we're under caution here just a moment ago.
3 wide. Joe Ruttman in the middle right there. Going to lose a little air off the spoiler. The truck's going to turn around on him. He's going to jump in the throttle to keep it out of the outside wall. And the truck shoots to the inside of the racetrack. Was not able to keep it out of the inside wall, though, and had a little bit of damage.
And there were also some pit stops. Let's update the stops. Let's first go to Ray.
Well, Jerry, on the 2 truck, they were bad tight, the worst they've been all day, so they went with left side tires. But get this, 5 rounds up on the track bar, major chassis adjustment. For the 19, they did right side tires, but their truck was all, or the 99, excuse me, was also very tight, but they did right side tires that time. Amy?
Well, the 46 of Dennis Setzer was running up in the top 5, but dropping fast because of an overheating problem. He picked up a large piece of trash. They took this caution flag as an opportunity to come down and clean off the grill and give him right side tires.
All right, the front 5 did not pit. The next 5 did. We have 10 trucks on the lead lap, getting set for the restart with less than 20 laps to go here at Las Vegas.
Green, green, green.
Jack Sprague will lead him down. Chevrolet up front. Then comes the Dodge of Musgrave, the Chevy of Quapple, the Ford of Crawford, and the Chevy of Hendrick. That's the top 5. None of those 5 trucks.
Look at the move on the outside.
Here comes Musgrave on the outside of Sprague, and Musgrave will take the lead on the restart with 16 laps to go.
Looked like Jack Sprague had some buildup on his tires. His truck was wiggling all through turns 1 and 2, and Ted Musgrave just drove by him on the outside.
There's a 99 of Kyle Busch, the 2 of Riggs.
Great job, buddy. Nice and smooth. Hit your mark. 16 to go.
That was a spotter for Ted Musgrave telling his driver 16 laps to go. And we'll be looking at win number 6. Remember, Sprague still got to be a little bit concerned with fuel mileage as you watch this battle here. The 90 truck, by the way, is being shown a lap down in 12 spots. Still a pretty good run for Lance Norrick. Left side of your screen is Hendrick, then Kyle Busch, then Riggs. They are 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Again, Ricky right there in the 17 truck. Ricky Hendrick has the freshest tires of the group as far forward.
Back up front. Interval is about 44 hundredths of a second. There's Brendan Gaughan in the Napa Dodge. Ray, what's going on with Brendan?
Well, Jerry, Brendan's not very happy with Jack Sprague because they had made a deal. Sprague said he'd let him back on the lead lap there if he just gave him room to race earlier on. So Brendan Gaughan said, if I can get up there and have anything to do with the outcome of this race, I guarantee you the 24 truck's not going to win, and he may not even finish.
A little temper on the racetrack there. When you had commented that maybe since Brendan gave Jack so much room on the racetrack that maybe if the caution came back out, they may give Brendan his lap back. But if you're Jack Sprague and Brendan's that strong, I'm not sure you want to have to race that guy for the win.
Well, that's right. But if you make a deal, Doc, you need to live up to it. So I'm sure Brendan's upset right now, and I think he has pretty good reason to be upset. But he doesn't need to mess with Travis Quapple, Rick Crawford, and Ricky Hendrick because they didn't do anything wrong, and they're racing for position right now.
That 60 is Quapple. The 14 is Crawford. Here comes Hendrick on the inside. That is for position. That's for 4th spot. They are side by side. Chevy on the bottom of the racetrack. Then comes Crawford. Here's the 60 of Travis Quapple in 3rd spot. There are the lead 2 trucks, Musgrave and Sprague. There is the 3rd place battle, or the 4th place battle, I should say. And Hendrick down inside the white line there as Crawford came down. Here comes Riggs now. That's 4th, 5th, and 6th together.
Looks like the adjustments Timmy Cahoot made to Scott Riggs' TMSA Dodge have helped. He's currently 8th. He was back in 10th before the caution flag.
You heard Ray Dunlap say 5 rounds up on the track bar. That's the adjustment they made on the Riggs machine. Timmy Cahoot, the veteran crew chief there for Ultra Motorsports, and Riggs running very well. Probably the best he's run today.
Sure has, and that's a pretty major adjustment too. 5 rounds up on the track bar. That's a major adjustment.
Right behind Willie T. Ribbs, and Ribbs will pin Crawford back, and he will lose a spot as Hendrick goes to the inside, and actually Crawford may lose 2 spots.
It's going to be 3 wide here.
3 wide, 2 wide.
3 wide, 2 wide.
Everyone underneath, lined up underneath.
Scott moves all the way up to the 4th position.
Now 3 wide again. Here comes Crawford back on the inside to take the spot away.
What tremendous racing here at Las Vegas. And look at Kyle Busch looking in the inside to make it 3 wide.
Kyle Busch on the bottom of the racetrack. 11 to go. It'll be 10 next time by. Great racing. NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series style here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
You sure this is not Talladega, Don?
I'll tell you what, they are drafting up. Here comes David Starr in the mix. And the 99 truck very loose a moment ago for the Eldon Ford. He gathered it back in as you ride along with the Team ASE CarQuest Dodge. That is Riggs looking back at Ricky Hendrick.
You're right, a big wiggle for Kyle Busch coming off turn number 4.
10 to go as now David Starr looks to the inside of Kyle Busch. 4th position. That's for the 7th spot.
Ricky Hendrick able to get back by Scott Riggs into the 5th position.
The lead is stabilized about a truck length and a half between Musgrave, the leader, and Sprague in 2nd spot. 9 to go.
Jack Sprague is catching him, though. You know, you mentioned before he was 44 hundredths of a second behind. Now he's only 27 hundredths of a second behind. And still side by side back here for the 5th position.
And remember, Riggs needs these points. The 2 truck is in 3rd spot. It was 88 points back, just 2 events remaining, and Ricky Hendrick's in 6th spot. So he is Sprague's teammate, so Hendrick would like to be able to help his teammate Sprague for a championship by getting by the 2 truck.
Certainly. But he also wants to help himself by gaining another position.
Absolutely. There's the leaders. There's the one of Musgrave. The interval that time by 36 hundredths of a second between 1st and 2nd with 8 laps to go.
The problem Jack Sprague's having right now, that he hasn't really run behind much this race, behind anybody. So he's behind Ted Musgrave. So now he's in an aero situation where he might get an aero push. His truck may be perfect out front, but now he's behind Ted Musgrave. He's not getting as much air down in the front end of the truck, so he may have a pushing situation.
Remember, Musgrave qualified well for this one, but had an unapproved engine change, had to start shotgun on the field. He qualified back in 10th position. The Franklin, Wisconsin driver in the Mopar Dodge started back in 36th position. Has a chance to go from last to 1st. He's got 1 previous NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series start here at Las Vegas, and he finished dead last in 36th spot back in 1996. So how about that? His worst ever finish in NASCAR Craftsman Trucks. Now trying to get a win, and he is 7 laps away.
The lead, the differential is stabilized right now. I think once Jack gets within 6 or 8 truck lengths, then I think he probably picks up a little bit of push like we were talking about. So it's going to be awfully hard to catch him. But hey, all Ted Musgrave has to do is slip one time, and Jack Sprague is there.
There's Crawford now. He holds 4th spot right in front of Riggs in 5th. Riggs working the bottom of the racetrack. Crawford's truck sliding up in the middle of the turns, opening a door for Riggs, and here he comes.
Good side by side. Scott got a good run off turn number 2. See if he can clear it, Rick. Looks like he did.
Riggs picks up the points and the position. 5 laps to go for Ted Musgrave. As you watch the battle here for position, that is for 4th spot. 4th, 5th, and 6th on your screen. Dodge of Riggs, Ford of Crawford, Chevrolet of Hendrick. There is Musgrave. There is Sprague. The interval now 7/10 of a second from 1st to 2nd.
Ricky Hendrick all over the back of Rick Crawford for the 5th position.
Great parity here in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. You got a Dodge, a Ford, and a Chevrolet battling it out in the top 6.
And a real dogfight back here for 4th, 5th, and 6th between a Dodge, a Ford, and a Chevrolet.
4 laps to go. 2 races remain in the 2001 season. $12 million NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Tour.
Looked like Ricky wanted to try Rick Crawford on the outside that time, but Rick moved way up the racetrack and took Ricky's line away. See, Ricky gets a good run through the center of the corner on the high side, but once they get around the corner a little bit, Rick's able to jump in the throttle and take that the gain that Ricky was gaining away.
3 to go. That time by. Watching the great battle on the racetrack for position. Crawford finished second last Friday night at Texas Motor Speedway. Ricky Hendrick trying to get another top 5 finish, trying to get back into the top 5. Average speed that time by for the leader just over 154 miles an hour on this 1.5-mile oval at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
I can't take him high. He's doing my line, and I can't do it.
You hear that was Ricky Hendrick right there. He said he wants to take him high. He said he's taking my line away. I can't do it.
There is Ted Musgrave, who had to go to the back of the pack after an unapproved engine change. One of 3 drivers going to the back of the pack. Here comes Hendrick on the inside of Crawford. And hugging that white line, Hendrick trying to hang on. White flag waving for Musgrave, but you're watching a great battle side by side. GMAC Chevy on the inside. Milwaukee Electric Tools Ford on the high side. Here comes Crawford roaring back on the final lap at Las Vegas.
They were dead even that time at the start-finish line.
Clear low, clear low. All right, let's go now. Keep digging. It's pretty smooth.
Crawford takes a spot away. It is Musgrave, then Sprague, then Quapple, then Riggs,
Clear all right.
then Crawford, then Hendrick. Here in the final lap comes Ted Musgrave, and the 45-year-old driver from Franklin, Wisconsin, wins the Orleans 350.
Absolute job, Ted. You're the man. That's what I'm here for.
So much emotion from Ted. Huh? That's what I'm here for.
That's right. Fred Wenke told him he was a man. Said that's why I'm here. That's why they pay me.
6 times he has gone to victory lane this year, and we will hear from the winner, Ted Musgrave, who wins his first race ever at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Victory lane when we come back.
And Ted Musgrave with victory number 6 for the Mopar Dodge. Victory number 11 for Maltra Motorsports this year. There's a couple of important things here. The first question has got to be, were you worried about the unapproved engine change? And the second question is, how about that pit strategy?
It all came together, you know, like I say, Harrington Motors tried a little bit of different motor and just, it felt like something was going wrong with us. We changed it and went back to reliable. It worked, but I'll tell you what, Jack's awful tough out there, and I know I had one shot at it, and that was the restart. And I had to get all the air I could on the truck. Once I got up front, I just had to put my nose at a grindstone and away you go. But like I say, these guys back here at the pit stops, strategy, it takes team to do it, and this is a team that can do it.
Absolutely. Ted Musgrave with another victory here at Las Vegas.
Ted led only 18 laps. You take a look at our results unofficially. Jack Sprague finishes second. 10 trucks finish on the lead lap. Quapple, Riggs, Crawford, the highest finishing Ford in 5th spot. Then Hendrick, Starr, Rutman, Busch, and Setzer rounding out the lead lap trucks in 10th spot.
Good run for Jimmy Hensley back in 15th in Randy McDonald's truck.
And you see 16th through 30th. Jim Engelbreit had a good run early on after a good qualifying effort. John Wood had come up to 7th spot prior to having an incident early on. They finish in 29th and 30th spot. And then our 31st through 36th place starters as the unofficial results are in for the Orleans 350. We'll come back and talk to our runner-up finisher and points leader, Jack Sprague, when we wrap it up from Las Vegas Motor Speedway in just a moment.